Boy, let's unpack this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something that's, well, on a lot of people's minds. Something sitting right at that crossroads of tech, finance, and maybe some raw market speculation. Ethereum.
Right.
You've sent over some really fascinating analysis, and our mission today is to cut through the noise, to really understand what's driving its value, where it might be headed, and what you need to know to be, genuinely well-informed. Think of this as your shortcut, maybe, to unlocking the complex world of one of crypto's most significant assets.
And what's really fascinating here, I think, is that we're pinning this to a very specific hypothetical price point.
Yeah.
USD 4,200, specifically as of August 9th, 2025.
Right.
This isn't just like plucking a number out of thin air. It's a snapshot.
Yeah.
It helps us understand the forces underneath it all and what those forces might mean for where it goes next.
Absolutely. And our goal isn't just to, report the numbers. It's to give you that balanced view. We'll evaluate the current context of Ethereum's price, break down the technicals, the fundamentals shaping it, pinpoint those crucial price levels.
Key levels, yeah.
And project its potential path, short, medium, long term. And we'll definitely highlight the challenges and risks, too, so you get the full picture. So maybe before we jump into the nitty-gritty of the price, let's just quickly re-anchor ourselves. What is Ethereum?
Good starting point.
It's the second biggest crypto by market cap, sure, but it's way more than just a digital coin you trade.
Yeah, if we zoom out a bit, you can think of Ethereum as, well, almost like a global decentralized computer. It's a leading blockchain platform. It's the backbone for smart contracts.
So self-executing agreements.
Exactly, and a whole universe of decentralized applications, or dApps.
Right, apps without a middleman.
Precisely, giving you more control. And this whole ecosystem, it fuels DeFi, decentralized finance.
Financial services on the blockchain.
And also NFTs, those non-fungible tokens. Unique digital assets, digital art, that kind of thing. It's relevance for innovation in tech, in finance. It's not just undeniable, it's genuinely transformative. It's a foundational pillar.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting then. Our sources tell us, August 9, 2025, Ethereum's sitting hypothetically at this USD 4,200 mark.
Right.
That's a strong position. So what's been driving this recent push upwards? What's the why behind that number right now?
Well, that level, that 4,200, it signifies a recent surge, a real bullish impulse, as they say. And it's fueled by a pretty potent mix of things. We're seeing more institutional investment coming in.
The big players.
Yeah. Plus, growing adoption of financial products built around Ethereum, like ETFs, other instruments. And then there's some specific supply and demand dynamics happening right now in the market.
Okay, let's pull back the curtain on that. Let's really understand the core elements influencing this price. Our sources point to some fascinating fundamentals and technicals. So on the fundamental side, you mentioned institutional investment. We're seeing a significant uptick, strong inflows into things like ETFs. What does that signal really beyond just more cash flowing in?
That's a really crucial distinction, actually. When institutional money, large investment funds, corporations, maybe even pension funds starts moving into something like Ethereum, it's not just a confidence vote. It's a signal that these, let's say, sophisticated players are starting to see Ethereum as a legitimate long-term asset. It might be shifting its market dynamics, moving away from purely speculative, more towards investment-grade potential. It hints at a deeper integration maybe into the traditional financial system.
Interesting.
And speaking of fundamentals, the tech developments are absolutely key. Ethereum's big transition to proof of stake, often called Ethereum 2.0 or the merge, that dramatically improved its energy efficiency and scalability too. These ongoing improvements, they keep attracting developers, new projects. It really solidifies Ethereum's lead in DeFi, NFTs, smart contracts.
So it's like a constant evolution. It keeps pulling in new innovators. Another fascinating fundamental our sources mention is supply scarcity. Apparently, the amount of ETH available on centralized exchanges is at historical lows. What's the implication there?
Well, it's kind of basic economics, isn't it? When the supply on exchanges where people usually trade is low, it generally indicates that holders aren't really looking to sell right now. They're holding on.
Oh, dealing, as they say.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that naturally reduces potential selling pressure. It helps create a more bullish backdrop.
Yeah.
And tied to that, the general market sentiment seems quite optimistic. You see it reflected in things like a high fear and greed index.
Okay.
But while optimism is generally good, it also makes you cautious about FOMO, fear of missing out.
Right. Chasing the price.
Yeah. So it suggests maybe a healthy dose of skepticism is still warranted. Don't just jump in because everyone else seems to be.
That's a great point about balancing that optimism. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Technical analysis. What are the charts telling us? Are they reinforcing this view or maybe challenging it?
Well, what's particularly telling in the technical data right now is that Ethereum is bumping up against some critical resistance, specifically in that USD 4,000 to USD 4,085 range.
Okay, like a ceiling.
Exactly. Think of it as a ceiling. If it breaks through that convincingly, it could trigger a pretty significant upward move. On the flip side, you've got strong support levels like floors holding up pretty well. Around USD 3,508 and USD 3,400. These have recently shown some real solidity, meaning when the price dips there, buyers tend to step in.
So those are the key battlegrounds traders are watching. What about other technical indicators? Are they lining up with this positive momentum?
They generally are, yeah. The RSI, the relative strength index,
There's momentum, right?
right? Speed and change of price moves. It's currently at a neutral level,
Yeah.
which is actually quite healthy. It means Ethereum isn't necessarily overbought and screaming for a correction, but it's not oversold either.
Balanced.
Balanced, exactly. And then if you look at moving averages like the 50-day and 200-day, these smooth out the price action to show trends. They clearly suggest a short to medium term upward trend is in place. So that reinforces the positive momentum we're seeing.
Okay.
And from a wave analysis perspective, this looks at predictable patterns in market movements. Ethereum appears to be in what technical analysts call a bullish impulse phase.
Like a big wave moving forward.
Kind of like that, yeah. Imagine ocean waves.
Yeah.
Even when there's a powerful surge forward, you always get smaller dips, temporary pullbacks. This analysis suggests Ethereum is in one of those major surges. So the occasional dip shouldn't necessarily spook you. It's often just the market catching its breath before potentially going higher.
Okay, that's a lot of positive signals stacking up. But, in any market, there are always headwinds. What are the potential factors that could push the price back down?
And this raises a really important question. It's vital we look at the other side of the coin. While there's definitely optimism, we have to consider the bearish factors too. I mean, first off, cryptocurrencies are just inherently volatile. That's their nature.
Always.
Broader macroeconomic events, think unexpected weak economic data, or maybe geopolitical tensions flaring up, those can cause sudden, sharp corrections.
Right, external shocks.
Exactly. We also see significant leveraged long positions in the market right now. That means a lot of traders are using borrowed money to amplify their bets that Ethereum will go up.
Risky.
Very risky. If the price slips even a little bit, these leveraged positions can get liquidated quickly. They're forced to sell, which can create a kind of domino effect downwards.
Okay.
And while they seem less impactful than maybe in previous months, token unlocks still happen. This is when previously restricted tokens become available to be sold. It could introduce some extra volatility, though maybe less of a factor now.
Okay, so given all these forces pulling in different directions, what does this all mean for the future? Let's talk projections. Our sources break this down short, medium, long term. Give us a kind of roadmap of possibilities.
Okay, so for the short term, let's say the next 1 to 3 months, August through October 2025, the bullish scenario suggests if Ethereum successfully breaks through that USD 4,000 resistance we talked about, it could realistically make a run towards USD 4,500, maybe even USD 4,800. That move would likely be fueled by, well, short liquidations, people betting against it, getting squeezed out, plus that continued institutional interest.
And what if it kind of stalls, doesn't break through, or faces pushback?
Then we'd be looking at more of a neutral scenario for the short term, probably consolidation. The price just trading sideways, maybe between, say, USD 3,800 and USD 4,200. We might even see it dip back to test those supports we mentioned earlier, USD 3,508 or USD 3,400.
Okay.
But there's also a bearish short-term scenario. If some unexpected negative news hits, or if those supports don't hold, we could see a correction bringing the price down towards USD 3,300, maybe even USD 3,000.
Right. And looking a bit further out, medium term, say the rest of 2025 through to 2026.
Yeah, for the remainder of 2025, the projections get wider. We're seeing ranges from maybe USD 2,300 on the low end up to USD 7,600 on the high end.
Wow, big range.
It is. The estimated average seems to cluster around, say, USD 5,500 to USD 6,500. And these figures really depend on that institutional adoption continuing and the network improvements delivering.
Okay, and into 2026.
Looking into 2026, that projected range expands even more. Maybe USD 2,000 at the bottom, potentially up to USD 11,000. An optimistic scenario, if things really go well through the year, might see Ethereum pushing towards, say, USD 4,300 to USD 5,000 consistently.
That's quite a spread of possibilities. Really highlights the volatility, doesn't it? But what about the really long view? Beyond 2026, we talk in 2027, 2030, even further.
Yeah, look much further out. For 2027 to 2028, our sources suggest Ethereum could climb somewhere between maybe USD 6,700 and USD 18,000. But that really hinges on continued global adoption. We're talking mainstream use and significant tech breakthroughs within Ethereum itself.
Okay.
By 2029 to 2030, an optimistic view puts prices maybe between USD 11,800 and USD 14,300. Potential maximums around USD 10,700 to USD 12,000.
Still significant growth potential.
Potentially, yes. Now, for the really long term, like 2040, 2050, our sources suggest that in a, let's say, highly optimistic scenario, Ethereum might reach USD 35,000 or possibly more. However, getting to something like USD 100,000, that's generally considered pretty improbable.
Wait.
Primarily because of market competition. There are other blockchains constantly vying for market share. And just the inherent unpredictable nature of crypto market volatility over decades.
Makes sense. So if we try to connect all these projections back to the bigger picture, what are the truly critical factors, the things that will really shape Ethereum's long-term path? What should we really be keeping an eye on?
Yeah, several factors really stand out. Continued institutional adoption is huge. Seeing that capital continue to flow in isn't just money, it's validation. That's a key growth driver.
Right.
Equally important is the technology itself, ongoing innovation, improvements in scalability, getting transaction costs down. Those are vital for Ethereum to stay competitive against newer, maybe faster rivals.
That makes a lot of sense. And I guess government regulations play a massive role too.
Oh, absolutely, a huge role. Favorable policies, clear rules, that could really boost the price by bringing in more mainstream users and businesses.
And the opposite.
The opposite, yeah. Restrictive regulations, or even just continued uncertainty, those pose significant risks. They could really stifle innovation and investment. And of course, we can't forget competition. Other blockchains, I know Solana, Cardano, others are always emerging. They're constantly evolving. They could definitely challenge Ethereum's dominance if they offer, say, significantly more efficient solutions or manage to attract a big chunk of the developers and users.
Right. It's not operating in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Okay. That all tracks. So beyond those kind of external factors, what about the inherent challenges? Things within Ethereum itself that could impact these projections?
This raises another important question,
Yeah.
because understanding the challenges helps frame realistic expectations. Volatility is just always there. It's baked in. Abrupt market swings can lead to big losses if you're not prepared. The competition we just talked about, that pressure from alternative blockchains, means Ethereum has to keep innovating just to maintain its position.
Constant pressure.
Constant pressure. Regulatory shifts, as we said, could limit growth. And maybe ironically, the current enthusiasm we're seeing, if expectations get too inflated, it could actually lead to a market correction phase, a pullback.
Right, a reality check.
Exactly. And finally, despite those big improvements from the merge, scalability is still a bit of a challenge. Things like how many transactions the network can handle quickly, the cost of those transactions, network speed. These are still areas where some newer competitors might look more agile.
Okay. So we've covered a ton of ground. You've got all this rich information, the fundamentals, the technicals, the projections, the risks. What does this all mean for you, the listener, the learner who wants to be well-informed? Maybe even apply some of this knowledge. Our sources have some really practical recommendations, ways to navigate this complex landscape.
Yeah, and this really highlights the need for critical thinking and personal responsibility, frankly.
Yeah.
Before you even think about making any investment decisions, it's absolutely crucial. Do your own thorough research. Don't just rely on headlines or, what someone says on social media. Really try to understand the tech and the market forces.
Dig deeper.
Dig deeper, exactly. Also, think carefully about your entry strategy. Maybe consider waiting for pullbacks. Those support levels we talked about, like USD 3,508 or USD 3,000, could potentially offer safer entry points than, chasing the price when it's surging.
Less FOMO.
Less FOMO, more strategy. And, perhaps most importantly, practice rigorous risk management. Given the high volatility, never, ever invest more money than you are genuinely willing to lose.
Crucial point.
It really is. And finally, just stay informed. Continuously. The crypto world moves incredibly fast. Keep monitoring the tech developments, the regulatory landscape, the overall market shifts that affect Ethereum.
What a deep dive indeed. We've really covered the waterfront here. From Ethereum's core identity, Its current hypothetical price of $4,200 right through that intricate web of fundamentals and technicals driving the value. We've looked at projections spanning years, weighed the competition, the risks, and even touched on how you can approach this, well, fascinating but complex asset responsibly.
And I think the takeaway is Ethereum currently shows a pretty solid upward trend. It's got strong backing from that increasing institutional investment and its clear technological leadership. But that inherent volatility demands caution. It demands a nuanced understanding of all these market dynamics we've discussed, connecting these details, these specific insights, to the broader market picture that's absolutely key to really grasping its potential and its risks.
So let's leave you with a final thought, something for you to maybe mull over. Given this incredibly rapid pace of innovation we see and the inherently unpredictable nature of global regulations, how might the evolution of decentralized finance itself, going way beyond just Ethereum, how might that fundamentally reshape our understanding of what even constitutes a safe or a valuable asset in the decades ahead?
Interesting question.
It's not just about the price of one cryptocurrency, is it? It's about the potential for an entire paradigm shift in how we view money, ownership, and value itself.